All right, let's dive into something pretty radical. We're going to explore an idea for planetary stability that isn't just a new policy or some fancy tech. No, this is a whole system, drawn from this really fascinating dossier. It's called the Trinary Bridge, and it's basically proposing an entirely new foundation for our world. So, at the very heart of this entire framework is this one simple-looking equation. But it's not a goal. It's presented as a law, almost like a law of physics for society. The idea is that for us to have a sustained existence, these three values, truth, compassion, and humility, have to be locked together multiplicatively. And here's the kicker. If any one of them drops to zero, the whole system fails. Game over. And that's the real question, isn't it? It's what makes this whole idea so gripping. It's asking us to think about our future not in terms of politics or economics as we know them, but as a kind of fundamental code that we choose to run our civilization on. So, you ready? Let's break this formula down, pillar by pillar. Okay, first up is the truth part of our equation. It's a system called the Information Integrity Matrix, or IIM for short, and its entire job is to create a shared reality that we can all actually genuinely trust. And right away, you see this massive choice it's asking us to make. I mean, think about most of the information systems we use today. Social media, targeted ads, their whole game is based on control, right? Using data to influence you, to get you to click, to buy, to vote, to do something. The Trinary Bridge just completely rejects that. Its truth engine is built on coherence, using data so we can all understand the world better together. So how does it actually do that? Well, the IAM doesn't just feed you more of what you already believe. Its main function is to seek out and introduce what it calls high-bridging information. Think of it as ideas that connect different viewpoints, that find the common ground between two opposing sides instead of just making one side louder. The point isn't to control what people think, but to gently break down our echo chambers, so that as a society we get collectively smarter. The bottom line is, it's all about shared understanding, not telling you what to do. Okay, so we've got our foundation of truth. Now let's move on to the second pillar of the bridge. This is the Resource Equity Network, or the REN, and this system is the embodiment of compassion. And here we are again at another huge philosophical fork in the road. The default mode for so many economies has been unchecked optimization. You know the drill, just make the economic pie as huge as you possibly can, and well, don't worry too much about how the slices get handed out. The REN, on the other hand, runs on compassionate sufficiency. Its number one priority isn't maximizing growth, it's making sure there's a dignified minimum for every single person on Earth. It's basically a global safety net that's coded right into the economy. And the way it works is actually pretty beautiful in its simplicity. First, it does what's called a sufficiency pass. Before anything else happens, the system makes sure everyone is above a minimum dignity floor. That means access to food, water, shelter, the absolute essentials. Only after that's done, only after everyone is taken care of, does it move to step 2, distributing the surplus. And it doesn't just give more to the most productive. It distributes it based on a need index, which is basically a smart, data-driven calculation of who needs it most. It's a system designed to know exactly where resources will do the most good. All right, so we've got truth and we've got compassion. The final pillar, the one that anchors the whole bridge to our planet, is the Climate Stability Grid, or CSG. And this is the system's expression of humility. And this might be the biggest mindset shift of them all. For centuries, our approach has really been one of dominion, seeing the Earth as a giant warehouse of resources for us to exploit and optimize for our own benefit. The CSG enforces homeostasis. It treats the planet not as a resource to be used up, but as a complex, living system that we have a profound duty to keep in balance. It's all about creating planetary guardrails. And listen, these aren't just polite suggestions. They are hard-coded firewalls in the system's programming. They're absolute limits that no economic target or human ambition is allowed to break. You can see the constraints. Keep the planet's temperature in check, stop pumping more CO2 into the air, and, well, this last one is an absolute showstopper. This, right here, the change in biodiversity must be greater than or equal to 0. I mean, just let that sink in. That is a mathematical line in the sand. It means the system is literally forbidden from taking any action at all, that results in a net loss of life on this planet. It has to break even, or it has to make things better. Full stop. So, okay, here's the ultimate test case, right? What happens if every single option on the table would violate one of those firewalls? This is the core of what the system calls humility. It doesn't try to find the least bad option or the lesser of two evils. Its only valid move is to do nothing at all. Inaction is required over causing harm. That is the ultimate expression of first do no harm, but applied to the entire planet. So you've got these three massive pillars: the truth engine, the compassion network, and the humility grid. And yeah, they're impressive on their own, but the real magic, the absolute genius of the Trinary Bridge, isn't in the pillars themselves. It's how they're all locked together, creating this incredible, self-reinforcing loop. This is what the dossier calls relational coherence, and it's amazing. Let's just walk through it. First, the truth from the IIM gives the compassion network clean, real data so it can accurately see who needs what. Makes sense. Then, a society where everyone is cared for by the Wren is way more willing and able to make the long-term choices needed for the planet, which supports the humility of the CSG. And finally, a stable planet governed by those hard firewalls reduces the global stress and chaos that fuels misinformation, which in turn reinforces the truth engine. You see, each pillar makes the others stronger. It all starts here, with truth, a shared, coherent reality that we can all build upon. Without this, everything else is just built on quicksand. And that shared truth lets us have genuine compassion because we can see each other's needs clearly and fairly, making sure that everyone is actually cared for. And when people feel safe, when their basic needs are met, they can finally afford to look beyond their own survival. And that allows for humility, the collective capacity to make these big, selfless, long-term choices for the health of our world. And that planetary stability creates a calmer, less chaotic world, which reduces the very social anxiety that makes us all so vulnerable to fear and misinformation in the first place. It closes the loop, reinforcing the very foundation of truth it started with. It's a truly virtuous cycle. So when you zoom out and look at this whole thing, what does it all add up to? Well, the Trinary Bridge is arguing for a fundamental shift in humanity's relationship with itself and with the planet. It's about changing our story from being conquerors to being caretakers. This one line from the dossier it nails the entire philosophy. It's arguing that real progress isn't found by just endlessly optimizing for more. It's found by wisely choosing our limits. It's about us becoming gardeners of this incredibly complex system, not masters of a machine. And ultimately, it suggests our greatest power might not be in our strength, but in our restraint. And that leaves us with this final and maybe the most vital question of all. The Trinary Bridge is a concept, a thought experiment, but it forces us to ask, if we could build our society's operating system from scratch, right now, today, what non-negotiable values, what moral constants would we hard code into its design? What would our equation for sustained existence look like? That's a pretty powerful thought to take with you.